abducting and invading Israeli soldier was a barbaric action. It seems President Obama and his administration consider the abduction of an invading soldier from an occupying army to be barbaric. But the massacre of more than 1,600 Palestinians in their neighborhoods, in their homes, in their schools, in their hospitals, in their playgrounds, on their beaches is not barbaric. We need to tell Mr. Obama what barbaric is. Barbaric is the Israeli destruction of more than 70 families in Gaza. More than 70 Palestinian families have been lost. Barbaric is that 300,000 children in Gaza have lost either their home or a loved one. 300,000 children. Barbaric is that hospitals are targeted. 6 out of 9 hospitals in Gaza are closed, and Israel is threatening to attack the rest. Barbaric is that entire neighborhoods have been destroyed, labeled what one journalist called apocalyptic. Barbaric is we have 500,000 missiles dropped on an area smaller than 260 square kilometers. Barbaric is that it has been the Zionist policy to destroy the economy in Gaza. That is why they bombed the electrical power plant. That is why they are bombing the water infrastructure. That is why yesterday they destroyed an ice cream factory. Barbaric is the siege that has been imposed on Gaza since 2005 and the fencing off of Gaza since 1995. Barbaric is that the objective of this siege is deliberately to destroy the economy of Palestinians in Gaza, to cripple them, to break them. That, Mr. Obama, is barbarism. Barbaric, Mr. Obama, is what is coming out of Israel right now, which is open calls for the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. This is what is written in Israeli newspapers. That is what is called by the current Deputy Prime Minister who calls for that against the Palestinians in Gaza. But none of this is new for us Palestinians. We have seen it before. We have seen it before. We are not surprised. I wish we were. But none of the things that have happened against us in Gaza or in Ramallah or in Quds are new. Barbaric, Mr. Obama, is Zionism. Zionism, which stated just what Golda Meir said, Israel's 4th Prime Minister, that there is no such thing as Palestinian people. Barbaric is to deny our identity and to deny our existence. Barbaric is what Menachem Begin said in 1969 when he called Palestinians beasts walking on 2 legs. Barbaric is what historian Benny Morris says, a historian who recognizes that every single Israeli village and Israeli town is built on Palestinian villages and Palestinian towns, and yet he justifies this genocide and this ethnic cleansing, and he recently called for the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in Gaza. That is barbaric. Barbaric is what the Israeli offensive forces are calling for, and they have said very specifically that officers have been given legal advice that allows them, and I quote, to target large numbers of civilian casualties. And this statement was not released in 2014. This statement was from 2009. From 2009. Barbaric is what Netanyahu says when he says, we must hit them, not just one blow, but blows that are so painful that the price will be too heavy to board. And he said that in 2012. That is barbaric. Barbaric is when they asked Netanyahu, what would you say when we destroy their villages? Netanyahu said, the world won't say a thing. The world will say we are defending ourselves.
War crimes! War crimes! War crimes!
President Obama has said, and I quote, innocent civilians are caught in the crossfire here to weigh on our conscience. We have to do more. Well, I appeal to you, Mr. Obama, don't do more. Please, Mr. Obama, don't do more, because when he does more, he gives more weapons, and he gives millions of our money to the Israeli war machine. No, Mr. Obama, if this is how the death of our families weighs on your conscience, then please, don't do more. We need 2005 are not new. They began in 1948. We need to recognize what barbaric is. Barbaric is racism. Barbaric is defining Palestinians as a demographic threat. And therefore considering that Palestinian existence is a threat to Israeli survival. Our existence is a threat to their survival, which means that the mere fact that we exist is justification for them to kill us. That is barbaric, that is racism, and that is Zionism, and that is what we must end. We are here together to say we demand an arms embargo on the state of Israel. We demand an arms embargo on the state of Israel. We are here to say we demand the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice take the Israeli war criminals to justice for the crime of genocide. We demand an end to the occupation, and we demand an end to racism. We stand with the foreign minister of Finland who said sanctions against Israel must be on the table. We stand with the governments of Latin America, from Ecuador to El Salvador to Bolivia to Brazil to Venezuela to Cuba. We stand with the president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, who said we not only stand with Palestinian families, with their women and their children, but we have to stand with Palestinian resistance. We say that an occupied population has the right to defend itself, which is what an occupied population has the right to do. Then we stand with the Palestinian resistance. We stand with the Palestinian resistance. And if we are opposed to racism against Palestinians, then we need to be opposed to racism against anyone, anywhere. Mr. Obama, we are opposed to your drone warfare. We are opposed to your drone warfare. Mr. Obama, we are opposed to your immigrant policy that separates families in the United States. We are opposed to discrimination against African Americans, Latino Americans, people of color. We say this as Palestinians. We say this as human rights activists. An end to the privatization of prisons in this country. An end to the drone warfare. An end to everything that is barbaric. That is what we say. And we make a pledge. We make a pledge right here today in the name of the Palestinians, who are the most resilient people I have ever known, who are standing and have been standing since 1948. We pledge to them that when the bombs end, and they will end, we will remember our anger today. We will remember our tears today. And we will not be broken. So long as Palestinians are surviving, and they are surviving, so long as they are resilient, and by God, we are resilient, we will not be broken, and we will organize. That means each of you here is to make a pledge to stand and to be organized in support of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. Make it your personal pledge to be organized in Dallas, in Houston, in Austin, wherever you come from in Texas.
www.KRS-Speech.com anti-war.
Yes.
So we'll skip that because you cover that nicely.
Yes. Well, no, I'm not anti-war.
Tell me.
Oh man, here we go. Well, you know what? Tell me more of your question.
Well, no, because if you're not anti-war, if you're not against the troops going in,
Right.
tell me what your view is.
Okay.
The last question is going to be about God.
Okay.
But if you elaborate this, then you can answer that in a second.
Okay, I'll answer this in a second. I am not for war, and I am not against war. I understand that war is a necessary part of human existence. And when I say necessary, it means that from a natural point of view, nature burns down her own forest to rebuild something new. That human beings at times have conflicts that result in mass murder and theft for the sake of something new, for something new to be reborn. I don't like war because I think it contradicts everything about civilization. But everything we know about civilization comes out of war. If you want peace, you must be willing to defend it. If you want to live in a peaceful environment, there's going to be somebody else who wants to take your peace from you, thus the creation of war. Everybody thinks they're right, thus the creation of war. So I'm not naive to say I'm against war in all forms and shapes. Wars are going on constantly. Your body is having a war right now with germs in the air so that you can live and survive. And I don't want to sound too philosophical about war because real people are dying. This takes me to my second point. I'm against murder. That's what I'm against. Murder, not killing. Murder. I'm going to kill you or stop your life for my own personal gain. I'm not going to kill you so that your generations can live a better life. I'm going to kill you so that my generations can live a better life. I'm going to kill you because my God is bigger than your God, better than your God. In fact, I don't even recognize your God. I'm going to murder you. I'm going to murder you because I'm afraid of you. I really think you're going to hit me first, so I'm going to hit you first. That's your own fears coming up, preemptive strikes. I'm going to hit you first before you hit me. That's your own internal fear. I'm against all that. But I do know, as a man of peace, that there comes a time where I have to stand up for peace, and I may have to give my life for that. I have to stand up for my family. You let somebody walk in my house with my wife and my children awake or asleep, I will kill somebody straight up. You ain't got a reason to be in my house? Dude, you out of here. I think that on a larger scale is what creates war. So I can't say I'm with it or against it, but I am against murder. I hope for a better future. I hope for a day when humanity unites as one and war becomes as archaic as cannibalism.